Today I'm going to show you how I embellish my Yazzii storage box. So this is the Yazzii storage box. It's 11 by 9.5 by 3 inches, and it has inside 2 compartments, a larger one and a smaller one, and 4 pouches that come with it. These pouches are awesome. I love them. I store beads in them, my tools, threads. They're great for everything. If you don't want to carry the big bag with you and you just need a few pouches, they're great for that because they slip in and out. And I love the front of this because there's a lot of room for embellishments. So I'm going to stick this in here. This is what I've been working on. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see I've been stitching this K-facet fabric. It is beaded, embellished. To the back I already have my heat and bond layer on it, so it is able to be ironed onto something, which I'm going to be ironing onto this, but also I'm going to have to stitch it too. So I prepared my fabric according to the directions on the heat and bond, and I've embroidered the whole thing. I embroider it first because it's easier to embroider this when it's off of the front of the pouch rather than having to go back and forth through these layers of the pouch. So I've already made sure that it fits. I'm also going to I have these little ribbon flowers that I really liked. I've had them in my stash. They match perfectly. When I saw them, I thought I have to add them. So I'm going to be attaching these, and I will show you how I do that. So I've worked out the placement. Nothing is attached to this yet. I've worked out the placement of where I want the little ribbon details to be and where I want this to be. I'm going to be taking off my applique piece right now because these ribbons are going to have to be attached first. I'm using just a white school glue, and I'm not using a lot of this. What I need is for these pieces to stay on here in position so that I can then stitch them into place. So I'm not using a ton of glue. I'm using a teeny tiny little bit of it just to hold it in place because it's all going to be stitched down as well. So it'll be nice and secure. And I'm just going to put a little dot of glue onto each of these little pieces. If you have a glue that you prefer, use that. This will dry clear, and I always have bottles of it around the house, so that's why I like to use this kind. But if you do EPP, you probably have other types of glue you like. Okay, so I have all my little pieces, and I'm just going to place this down and press them into place. I'm not going to be stitching this immediately. I'm going to let it dry a little first. And then I am going to do the same thing with this. I have a stray thread here, so I'm just going to trim that. I haven't decided if I'm going to be adding beads to this yet or not. That will come as I see how everything looks when it's all attached. So just my little dabs of glue, and I'm going to press this into place. Okay, so I have my trim in place, and I'm next going to place this piece on my bag. Now, some of the Yazzii bags, when you open them up, they have a plastic pocket here. This one doesn't. If there's a plastic pocket on the inside, what I normally do is put a towel inside the pocket so that I can iron on top of the bag and not have to worry about melting the plastic pocket or the vinyl pocket. This one, I don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to position this in place. Now, the one thing, it is helpful, and I'm just going to take a stack of fabric, to have a little something behind this, almost like an ironing board. So I always have fabric laying around. I just use like a little fabric so that I can press my iron onto this and lightly secure it to the bag. It's not going to stick perfectly because there's a lot of embroidery on the back. Normally if I'm doing a hoop, like a collaged hoop, all of this would be attached to the hoop and I would just be embroidering through that. So this is a little trickier only because I have to get it to stay on here as best as I can so that I can then stitch it down. So I'm going to take, this is my Oliso mini project iron, which I love, and I'm just going to start pressing it into place. Very lightly. Again, I know it's not going to stick perfectly, which is fine. I just need it to be kind of adhered to this so that I can then go through and stitch everything together. This will take a little time. This is a cotton thread that I have embroidered, so it's not synthetic. I don't have to worry about melting anything on here. And I'm just going to keep hitting little areas with some heat. If you're struggling with your fabric and it really doesn't want to stick to the bag, which could happen, it's happened to me, I'll just take a little bit of glue again and stick down the edges just enough so that I can embroider it and it's not moving all over the place. So you're just going to keep doing that until you are happy with how the bag, with how your applique is adhered to the bag. So I'm going to keep doing this. You can tell it's already, wow, that looks really cool. It's already sticking to the bag. If you need, you can attach, I might attach clips, you know, little wonder clips to the side to keep that in place. And then all I'm going to do is a blanket stitch or a buttonhole stitch all the way around this. Doing that keeps my stitches from showing through on this side. Nothing will show through. Oops, see, sometimes that happens. Totally fine if that happens to you. I'm just going to press it into place. I'm going to get this all stitched down, but this is how I attach an applique to the front of my Yazzii bag. You can follow along on Instagram and see how I'm going to stitch this together.